It is the 3rd of February 2025, and welcome to this emergency update video about Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as the S&P 500. We're going to take a look if this was it, basically. If this is the end of the bull market and now everything is going to look very bearish and, trend reverses. So let's start off with Bitcoin. This is actually a quite simple chart I have prepared for you. It basically denotes all of the important pivots that we made and where we can expect to find major support. Usually, when you're at a support level, it doesn't make a lot of sense to draw your conclusions, especially if we are at macro support. So I have drawn here this macro support line, which is currently at 93,503. This would denote a very good support, as I would say. As you can see, we had all of our bounces from this level, more or less. And then I also have drawn the line in the sand, where if we lose that level, it can go down very quickly. And this is the 89,270 level. Especially if we break this, this is going to be very difficult for us to maintain a bullish market structure in the short term, because currently the market is still ranging. Even though we had the tariff news that Trump would impose tariffs on Mexico and Canada, this still is in the range. Okay, so I wouldn't panic as long as these levels do hold. So this is actually a really good trade setup, especially if we can make a higher low here. We could attack those highs again. Okay, so we are basically flip-flopping from support to resistance at the moment, and there is not a lot of reason to see anything else. We had the largest liquidation event in crypto for quite some time. I think it was $2 billion of liquidations. So that's quite a high number. And it is possible that we run out of sellers here just due to this number. So in the short term, I would say it's much more likely to bounce than dump completely, right? So this is the take on Bitcoin at the moment. Would I say that the cycle has stopped? So far, I would say we don't have a lot of information. The line in the sand on the macro would be losing this level here at 73,000 and closing below. So a daily close or a weekly close, I would say, if you want to be correct, it would be the weekly close below this level that would mark the top for this cycle. And anything else so far is just a higher low. So I wouldn't mind that at the moment. Of course, you need to decide, if we lose this short-term level of 89,000, do you want to take the risk of further drops until 73,000, right? There's not really a lot of support between these two levels, and that's why it's very important to decide what one wants to do at the 89,000 level if it happens, okay? But to call a definite top or a definite bottom, I would say we don't have a lot of information at the moment. The market is currently trying to decide, and we won't have a lot of information until we see the price behavior here. So on the 4-hour basis, for instance, we are not getting a follow through just yet. Okay, for instance, here it just melted down quicker, lower. This was a huge spread. So now spread is contracting and it's forming an inside candle where you cannot really make a call. So far we're above this level. So if we're above, there's no cause for concern as of yet. But yeah, it could develop into something very ugly as soon as we lose this. So I would be watching this level I would be watching that level like a hawk. And this is the more important level. Going further to Ethereum. Let's see where I did have it. 1 second. A lot of charts on Ethereum. This is also not it. This is also not it. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so I also prepared a similar chart for Ethereum. On Ethereum, it's a little bit more difficult per se because it's not as bullish as Bitcoin is. So you have less clear levels, I would say, and you're still trading within the 2021 range, which makes it difficult to make a definite call, because this is still, in fact, a ranging market that can gyrate between 1600 to 1700 to about 4300. So very large range, and therefore it is important that we keep a clear head, especially with what's happening. And this is what I find very interesting. So we didn't trade above these all-time highs at all. We actually got rejected now 3 times, and this formed a double top pattern that basically reached us to the breakdown line of the smaller double top. So and what happened there is that we did not break crucial support. This was a ridiculous, like a stupid bar that just went to 2000 again, and then quickly was bought off. So it's going to be very important to see what happens here. Currently, we're still above crucial support. So the crucial support here is at 2065. And the question here is this bullish or not? So I would say, if you want to take an analog from Bitcoin, Bitcoin has held this upper level at 2,700. It would be strong if it was closing above this, but we're currently below it. So I would say we're now in the lower part of the range, and here it really needs to get a footing and needs to get above for us to assume that short-term prices are going to be higher. Otherwise, you're going to gyrate between these two levels and then possibly break this. So if you break the 2000 level, I think there's lots of problem coming for Ethereum. And therefore, it is very important that we maintain this level if you want to be bullish on it. Now, would this be the end of this bear market? I mean, the bull market, of course, sorry. Don't want to get on your nerves with these kind of statements. I think this level at 1700 is going to be crucial. If we lose this, you can assume that we're going to get a very big range extension to the lower side. As long as we hold it, there's no cause for concern. So yeah, we're very well above it so far. We still have a last point of defense at the moment. And of course, you need to get below this level to really be really bearish, right? So far, this is not the case. And what I find very interesting is that if you look at the horizontal levels, and especially if you view this channel, this is actually forming a pennant. And this is a technical pattern. Let me just draw it so you can see it. Let's just take this and draw this horizontal. I can also draw it like this. You see, it's a triangle, right? So a triangle usually has very wild swings up and down, and it is very possible that this is also that sad wild swing. So as long as we hold our support, this is, technically speaking, quite normal to see this in this type of a structure. Now, it is very like unnerving news, of course. The market is pricing in the tariffs, and the tariffs usually are not the best signs. Okay, so we still need a couple of days to put this into context to really say what the market is going to do next, because currently the market is deciding what it wants to do. Now let's look at the S&P 500. And I have drawn a pattern from last year where I was thinking that the market would form a very unnerving and very difficult structure. We went a little bit higher than I expected, but you can see it's almost identical to what I was drawing, which was a very difficult period right after the sell-off that happened after the carry trade blew up. So far, I would say this is still an aftermath where you can get very difficult times, and it's very important to keep a level head. And this is why I want to show you this. This is a long-term channel that we formed from these lows over here. And you can see that price pretty much respected this level, especially on the diagonals. It was quite nice on how it found support. But also, if you look at the very crucial SR levels, we haven't broken down yet. So the line in the sand for the S&P is actually this 5,845 level. Above that, it's, I would say, unnerving price action. Now, would I consider this to be very strong? Well, look at this. If we just compare the candles to each other, this is still, I would say, in the ballpark where it doesn't really reflect the bearishness out of here. So I would take this as an analog. Here, you didn't have a lot of dumping. The price tried to stay above this level for quite some time until it couldn't sustain it, right? Here, we have a little bit more weakness. This is very true, but the range as how the price is going lower is not really, I would say, substantial compared to this. So that is why I think this is still okay. The market needs to find its footing. The crucial support is this, and as long as it's above the support, it's okay. Okay, so this is my current take at the moment. But of course, everything can change in the short term, especially if we see the open. This is just a London session, so low volume trading. This is the big fish that might be trading this, right? But the real moves you're going to see when the New York Open happens, which is still, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's still going to take a couple of hours until this unfolds. But yeah, so far it's all right. It's not something that I would be concerned of just yet. Just know that you need to manage your risk accordingly. So I wouldn't simply stay complacent. Really take in those notes that I wrote in the premium group, where I said, number one, you need to decide if you made enough money in the 2 years that we had. I think even 3 years now, since the bull market started, since we're involved since the lows, right? So you need to decide if the money that you are making is enough. If it is enough, maybe take something off. If you think you didn't reach your goals, but you're still feeling unnerved, might be better off to take off a little bit of risk. It's always hard to leave money on the table, but if as soon as you made money, which is a substantial amount, I would say, because we called for these lows, right? It's okay. We're at the highs. Okay, and we already said that this year it's going to have some volatility in, especially with us going to the end stages of this cycle, because we're at the highs, right? We're not at the lows anymore. So at the highs, you do see lots of volatility. You do see quite a few news events where people that bought later, they will take profits, and as soon as they make some money, right? And this is exactly what you expect to see at those tops, where volatility gets quite elevated. Okay, and this is what I would leave for this video. So for now, summary: we don't have enough information to call for a top. We don't have enough information to call for a bottom, but short term we are at support. So support is usually fine as long as no follow through happens. So this is what we are going to focus on mostly in the next few days. And hopefully this was a video that you can work with. All right, that's me, Patrick. Until next time, goodbye.